Hi there, my name is Kurt Langford. I live at 10501 Tillman Lane in Foley. Here with Alabama Coastal Speed Club regarding the horse arena. It's my understanding the arena has been sold or going to be sold, and there's really trying to figure out where we're going to go for the future. We started this club about 6 months ago, and I went out and got a bunch of sponsors around town, a bunch of business owners. John Deere Place in Foley, both Gun and Pond, Hoods. I've got several business owners that support us. And with the horse arena leaving us, or I'm not real sure what the stance is on it, because depends on who you ask. Really nowhere for us to go. I don't know if you guys have considered or really understand how often the arena gets used, even when it's not being rented out for the day. There's a lot of girls that use the arena on a daily basis. They're pretty much in the afternoon. And there'll be a couple horses up there practicing, girls training the horses, people trying to buy horses, they meet at the arena, try a horse out. You know, it gives the community a place to ride a horse. And if you guys sell the arena, is there any type of plan moving forward with building another one? Just got a lot of questions that maybe you guys can point us in direction.
Mr. Chairman, and this thing kind of exploded on social media. First of all, it has not been sold yet.
Okay.
We are discussing with the possible owner that has it for medical use. With that, and one of the challenges with our horse arena over the years, when it was built up there, there was nothing up there.
Right.
And over the years, due to the kindness of Councilman Treywick, he's allowed people to use parking when there's events on his property. Not a lot of people do that, but
yeah.
Over the years, even he doesn't own all the property up there anymore. So we run into challenges with parking space. So looking at that, we have developed an alternative plan. One of the things are, if you look at the listing of the people who use it, and I totally agree with you, there's a lot of unofficial use of people that go up and ride, but the majority, 98% of the people that officially use it are not from Foley.
Right.
Now, they may have Foley members. We recognize that. Our council recognizes that. We have identified and are looking at a place to where it will not be a rodeo arena like that, but it will be about somewhere between 10 and 15 acres of wooden fenced-in area, and we'll have some practice facilities out there if you want to do barrel racing or jumping. We'll be inside there. It's out on our fiveplex, and we drafted a map that shows of where we could do that. We can actually give you a copy and pass it around, but we have not prepared for that yet. We weren't expecting social media to put information out there that way of a total picture. Apologize for that. Y'all got ahead of us. But that would be prepared, and basically that area is out on the fiveplex on Gator Lee Ray by Ralph Schumacher, and that area out there would be designated as our equestrian area, and it could be used. Now, we are not in the rodeo business anymore. It's all pretty much moved to Robertsdale. They have a lot nicer facilities than ours. And the facilities that we have are, they're getting up there in age, particularly the stands and things. We're going to have to invest a lot of money to bring that back to standard. So that's kind of what our plan is. We don't know if the sale is going to totally go through. It could come back and say no. But we now have medical facilities north of that. We have it west of that. We have it south of that. There are plans even east of that. That area up there is building out to support our $300 million hospital as it grows and the needs of all of the people in regard to medical. So we felt repurposing the land. Highest and best use would be to move this event space to somewhere else. May not be exactly the same. We also are looking to do, when we acquire the Barber property, to do possible trail riding down there over about 2,000 acres, which we don't have anywhere in Baldwin County right now. So that's kind of what we're looking at. Timing. We have not received back or done any type of closing or have a closing date. If it happens, it will be sometime in this fall.
Gotcha.
And then we would be moving on some replacing that pretty quickly.
Okay.
So I want you to know that it hadn't been forgotten about, but the majority of the people that use that facility do not live in Foley. And we have a responsibility to use the best use of our taxpayer dollars for our citizens. But we also are good neighbors, and we want to make sure that people that use that arena that, that there are other places they can do. Now, there was an idea put out there that would Foley donate to a group that may build a facility in the county if the county commission would support it. I would think our council would be very positive about, maintaining facilities and looking at an idea like that, but it would have to be a legitimate effort.
Gotcha.
So that's the latest that we have on it.
Okay.
Well, third quick question, what do you see, I mean, you're probably used it, more than I ever have. I've been up there as a kid a lot, but, is y'all's use mainly need for barrel racing and that type of facility, or is there a bigger need?
Pretty much bowl bending, barrel racing, I think if they'll say when you build it, they'll come. The reason people go to Robertsdale because they built a nice facility.
Yeah.
If we had a nice facility here, you could probably get good rodeo.
And we looked at that a couple of years ago, and the investment that we would have to do would outweigh the return because it is a competitive situation. We look at expanding sports tourism, and it's going to be quite a few $1 million to get into the business legitimately.
Yeah.
And so the decision was made not to do that.
Well, they'll say it's easy to say just go to Robertsdale and ride, but half the time you go up there, they've got the facility rented out with something besides the big one. They've got a bunch of barbecue grills out there with barbecue. And so it's not really an open facility all the time anyway.
Is there, and that, a question had come up and was asking me, is there a facility out on County Road 87 that has events with horses and?
Back like 30 years ago, there was a farmer that had an arena business.
There was an arena out there at one time, I didn't know that was, but it was a private property, and they had some events, I didn't know if that was still in operation.
You think that runs to the fence back up, right, right, what we need to get.
Yes,
So that kind of stood out to me that I really wanted to ride trail, which we're looking at. Now they have the property to move that forward. That's something we can do if we can.
there is some other ladies up here that are probably a little bit more knowledgeable about the arena than myself, that probably not come here to speak as well.
But anyway, we're sorry that all the information went out there. Nothing's final yet, so we weren't going to start throwing out there to the public about where the issue was until we know for sure, because this may not happen. If it don't happen, it don't happen. But the highest and best use of that property is not forever to be done.
And for me, I'm trying to plan shows 6-8 months in advance, so it's kind of hard to plan something when you don't know if you're going to have the arena.
The reality is that facility is going to be moved to something. The overbearing demand for medical is just overtake it. So we got to move it somewhere else, and we've got, we've got to move what we're going to do in the rodeo business or the riding trails. It's going to wind up being moved. Where it's located, it's been overgrown demand for other things.
I would assume lighting is critical, restroom facilities critical,
Stalls.
That's for a rodeo event. What about for practice? Say, Foley citizen wants to take their horse and practice barrel racing for an upcoming rodeo that they're going to. I mean, that's really, I think, what we're looking for is an area where our citizens can, practice with horses and that kind of stuff. Like the mayor said, we're really not looking to be in the rodeo business anymore. It's really about, the space for equestrians to work their horse.
Yeah, there's several girls that use the arena weekly. Right.
And that's something
They wouldn't need stalls, right? If you're doing it for practice, stalls would be for a rodeo event.
But you still need some stalls, have your horse, you can get bring 2 or 3 horses out there.
Okay, rather than staying in the trail.
And that's the kind of, we can work in our rec department, which they have that property out here. It's the property that real open area over there. We can sit and talk with some of the folks about what the minimums are. We're not planning to put bathroom facilities out there on the property right away because we have some right across the street, which you're at one end of the equestrian event, it's the same walk across the street that we already have currently.
I would recommend we include the restroom facilities and the lighting with the new facility. Those restrooms are too far away and not accessible.
Well, it's something we'll have to talk about. You're in the budget right now, so that would be something we have to look at. But we would like to know what the minimums are out there. We'd like you to start install where you open and the horse bolts out or something, I don't know.
Yes.
Or you just have a spot where they start from to do the barrel racing, because it's a timed event. Or then, like you talked about, the poles and other stuff.
You really need like a 250 by 250 foot space.
We're also planning to make sure that the proper soil was out there, because we want to make sure you have it really
That's right.
held, and we'll make sure of that too.
As I appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Thank you. It works.
My name is Beth Taylor. My address is 13780 Norris Lane, Foley, Alabama. And I would like to talk a little bit about the arena situation. So I am a veterinarian. I'm a horse owner. I'm a horse rider. I have a long history of working with students in this area on competitive teams, including horse judging, livestock judging. A lot of the kids that I've worked with spend a lot of time at that arena. And I've devoted lots of time and expense with these kids from my own for them to have an opportunity to do the things they love. And, you know, this arena has a long history here. Before I was in elementary school, my mom's two youngest sisters lived over behind J.M. Lee, and they rode their horses from my grandmother's house. We called her Gummo. Rode from her house over to the arena, rode their horse across Highway 59, and I watched them barrel race. That was when Highway 59 was a 2-lane. And I watched them barrel race when I was a kid that could barely even climb up the steps to get up there. So I have a long history with that arena. And I think I don't want to speak for anyone here, but I think the frustration that is come about within the horse community is that this was decided and this was something that came up. And I understand about progress, and we all have different views of progress. But I think that if this was going to take place, then something should have been out of respect for the horse community in this area and for our youth, that everyone fusses all the time about, you know, they're indoors too much, they're on computer too much, but these kids are not. And I want the city of Foley to show these kids that what they do is important. And when I looked at this property and I saw on the paperwork before I came to this meeting and it said it was under contract, I knew this was already really a done deal. So what I think is frustrating for all of us is that there doesn't appear to be, I think the alternate plan may be just kind of an appeasement. I hope that's not the case. I want something that our youth can use that is worthy of, you know, the investment that they have. Some of these kids work really hard to own a horse. It's not cheap to own a horse. And, you know, I go up there sometimes and ride my horse if I want to be in an enclosed area. And every single time that I'm there, there's usually a rider there or two when I get there. And there's usually some that show up before I leave. So to say that the city of Foley citizens are not using this arena is not true, because we are using it and we use it daily. And I get that this facility is outdated. You know, my part of that is why has the city of Foley not stepped up before now and made a facility for these kids and adults, you know, so a place where we could ride, you know, and you say, well, we really didn't need it because Robertsdale built one that was really nice and they had a nicer facility than us. So what I say is, why is Robertsdale's nicer than ours? You know, I'm proud of Foley. You know, my grandchildren are 5th generation Foley residents. And, you know, I'm proud of Foley. I mean, how many of us, Larry, when we rode the bus to go play in Robertsdale and we said, We can tell by the smell we're in Robertsdale. Yes. And we always joke about it, you know, and I'm proud to be a Foley. I know that's just a joke. But, you know, when we say, oh, well, but Robertsdale has a better facility, then why? Why do they have a better facility? They really should not. You know, if we have a facility here, we will use it. I think that the city needs to invest in our young people. I think that it is really important to show young people that we care enough about them to have a facility that they can ride safely. Again, I understand about the current facility not being what it should be, and there's not enough parking, there's not enough seating, the bathrooms are like they came from the 1800s. You know, I want something that is nice. I mean, honestly, I want something nicer than Robertsdale's for our horse people. I mean, we have more horse people maybe than you realize, and we do use it. You know, the people in Foley, I know that when we have rodeos and stuff, there are outsiders that come. But I can assure you that for every horse person that is in this room, there's at least 50 that are not here that feel the same way. So I urge you to put some importance on having an alternate plan that is legit and that is going to actually happen and that's nice. It's not going to just be an open field with a fence, you know, and say, hey, go put you some cans out there, go run the cans. That's not what we want. We want a nice facility, something we're proud of, something that's safe. And that really should have already been in effect prior to this land getting sold. And I understand, you know, the logistics of it. And like I said, everybody has a different opinion on progress, but this is important. I want you to know it's important. You know, it's important for these kids. It keeps them out of trouble. So, okay? So,
All right, thank you.
all right.
Thank you.
I'm Tracy Gunness. I think most of y'all know me as from Hollis Interiors. I'm also a fifth generation that has been born and raised.
Excuse me, can you state your name and address?
Yes, 412 West Satsuma, and it's Tracy Gunness. But like I was saying, I'm also a fifth generation here in this town, have been here my whole life. I'm actually pretty new to the horse world, just in the last couple of years. But one thing I want to bring to your attention is in the 1990s, the Jennifer Moore Foundation got started. And we all knew our family, knew that family very well. And this foundation has now been moved to Robertsdale due to us not having the room. Our facility holds less than 1,000. Robertsdale holds 3,000, maybe 3,500. I don't understand why Foley can't bring back the biggest rodeo that goes on. Why do we need to give it to Robertsdale? Because they also put rodeos on throughout the year. And all of that revenue could actually be coming in. I understand that is charity, but there are others. And I know all of y'all know Yellowstone. Right now, I spend half of my time in Texas and I spend half of my time here due to business. But I'm going to tell you something. When it comes to barrel racing, bull riding, anything in that nature, it is huge right now. I mean, there's people walking around in cowboy boots. They're not even cowboys because they want to be one. And I really feel like that Foley should bring it back because it brings a lot of people to this town. I mean, y'all all been to this rodeo. Y'all seen the Jennifer Moore Foundation, the people that it attracts. It needs to come back. I've also seen children, that have serious issues that go through horse therapy. I mean, there's so many things that come out of being involved with horses. And I really feel like that these children that are in the horse world should have the same opportunity as our football players, our baseball players, our soccer players. They should not be discounted in any way because it really is huge. And we would really appreciate the consideration to put another facility somewhere else and not just, like the lady said before, to appease us. I think that they all deserve an opportunity just like any other sport. And I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
My name is Julia Everly. My address is 28490 Road 26. I am one of the owners in 2J Cowboy Productions. I am a barrel race producer outside of that as well. I was crowned the Jennifer Claremore Queen a few years ago. I have ridden horses since I was 10 years old, and I've loved it. Living in Foley was never an option for me. I've kind of always been an Alberta girl, but I come here as often as possible, multiple times a week to ride in this arena. I've grown up here with Central Baldwin Saddle Club. I grew up when NBHA did their barrel races here. I know you say that this is no longer Foley's niche, that equestrian isn't what brings the money in. It's because we're being pushed out. Robertsdale is too expensive for a lot of people to rent the facility. And when we can get our hands on it, it is 6 to 8 months in advance. Bay Minette is so far away for all of us. There are so many people who use this arena, and as everyone else has said, we don't want to just be given some dirt and told to make it work. We genuinely, this is a lifestyle for all of us. It's not just a hobby. It's not just a sport. But there's just as many youth doing these activities as there are doing pickleball and soccer and all the other things that Foley has put their money into. And if we don't get rid of this arena, at least put some money into it to help fix it up. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
I'm Lynn Hodges, and I live in Somerville, so I don't know if I can talk on it. Is that okay?
Go ahead and give me your name and address.
Lynn Hodges, 20264 Dupos Road, Somerville, Alabama. I rode in that arena when I was 3 years old, so it is at least 60 years old. It was the Foley Trail Riders. I can't remember if it's Foley or Baldwin Trail Riders, but that arena. That's been a fixture of this community for over 60 years. And I feel like, okay, so the medical is taken, it's growing, it's surrounding it, but I feel like we're just being pushed over to the side. We're just being pushed out. And like they said, the Jennifer Claremore Rodeo was a big deal in this community. And it seems like y'all are, or whoever is just happy that it went to Robertsdale. And it seems like that's a big revenue. Brings in a lot of revenue, brings people from out of town. People come, they want to go to the beach, they come and they bring their horses and they want to go to the beach, they spend their money, they buy gas, they do all those kinds of things when they come. If you either make improvements there, or I think everyone would probably be fine, even though I grew up there and I have, fond memories of that particular arena. A comparable facility where we can put on barrel races. That brings in people. When y'all were doing all these ordinances, things that I was listening to, y'all would say such and such a thing, the rodeo, it brings in so many guests and whatever. Well, the rodeo brings in that many or more, but that doesn't sound like to me this listing that's something that was important. So, also I have a question is, since it's gotta be 60 years old, where did how did Foley acquire that original land?
Now, that was a private individual that ended up selling it to the city many years ago. At one time, it was a ballpark, and then the ballpark was moved, and you still see the remnants of the baseball field up here. It was the first lighting field up here. It was bought, it was assumed by the city back then after the private individual couldn't make the payments anymore. They just basically took over the property, and it's been there since then. That's the history behind it.
So I know.
But when it was acquired, there wasn't anything out there but reamers, seed shed, and I think Hancock might have been there a little bit. to the north, and then other than it was all basically farmer field.
I remember there was the huge silos out
Oh,
there.
yeah, that was Railroad City Council.
All that kind of stuff in the train track.
Everything's kind of grown up.
Right, and we, and I don't know, I think I kind of understand that it is kind of getting pushed out. And,
Yes.
but we want something comparable, right?
I
Because, when you were explaining like the trail riding thing, that didn't sound like somewhere where we're gonna be able to put on railway.
No.
Okay, so why wouldn't you, if that's going, why, and I was thinking,
Let me just say something, we've heard these comments that we're just gonna get a fence, and the city of Foley, when we do something, we do it pretty well. You look at the facilities that we build, we're not gonna give you a fence and some dirt. So, I think you're shortchanging us a little bit, or the comments that would happen. We would build a facility that we would be proud of, and I think you guys would be proud of. Now, it may be a work in progress and everything from that standpoint. We didn't give up on the rodeo. The reason why they moved is there wasn't adequate parking in the area. Couldn't buy any more property for it, so they moved because there wasn't adequate parking. They knew that that area was growing, and they wanted a facility that made more money. And our facility expanded in place, and it would have been quite a few millions to move it somewhere else. And at that time, the money was not available. So I think the city will do something that's comparable, that would be something we'd be proud of. It may not be a rodeo arena with that seats 3,000 people, but it'll be something that meets the needs of the clubs that are using it. And so that's kind of where we are. But we're not there yet. We haven't, it's not under contract. It's, we're negotiating in regard to the final outcome of that. And so nothing's been signed yet from that standpoint. So this is all still real preliminary.
right, well, we just want to make sure that.
Sure. I appreciate, and I understand, I grew up here too. I know what was done and why we did it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comment? Come forward, state your name and address for the record.
My name is Tim White. I'm property owner of 224 East Laurel Avenue, location of the under construction brewery, Blessed Kettle Brewing Company. I'm here to make a simple request and a proposal for the council's consideration involving the right-of-way immediately adjacent to our property on the east side, east side of our property, between Cypress and our property. The request being that we utilize a portion of the right-of-way immediately adjacent to our property for patron use of dining, which currently is allowed under the ordinance in the downtown historic district. Secondly, the proposal being that we're allowed to extend our purposes of improving and beautifying that portion of the right-of-way as part of our overall project. The improvements being greenscape, no permanent structures. Additional to that, in the interest of public safety, would be to put a removable barrier for safety purposes along the roadways. With the overall purpose of our improvements to the right-of-way being for an improvement to the downtown experience, improving spaces that people enjoy coming to the downtown. Proposal for your consideration. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, my understanding, this area that would be, it would be on the west side of that row of trees. You're not, the right-of-way that you would be using is what, 20 feet wide?
It's approximately 15 feet at the
But, and that's a 100-foot waterway right there on Cypress. So the trees, the roadside area is not going to be affected. It would be on the west side of those trees is what your request is. I think we have done these type of leases before. One of the concerns that the staff has is the fencing. And I understand what you say, removable. You're looking to fence it for the safety of your patrons and any kids that are eating there or whatever. But it's kind of sets a precedent, putting a fence, even though it would be a lease on that easement. it is something that we have to come to grips with. And that's, I think, the concern of the staff. We want to do everything we can to support your business to make it successful. We've done that all across the town, but that is where the concern is. So I don't know if there's any other ideas of how you could use it to still maintain safety. Could you plant up vegetative barriers to the fence or something of that nature that would be, we talked about beautifying it. Would it be something you do besides putting a fence around this area?
There could be consideration for a different alternative barrier versus just a continuous fence.
Could you get with the staff and talk to them, and then from that standpoint, see if this could be moving forward? Because right now, I think the concern is great about placing a fence. It's not just what we do for you. We always have to look at it from a precedent setting standpoint. We do this, then, it can be done anywhere. And so we have to make sure that we're not crossing some line we can't come down. That's the concern.
Quick question on, I'm familiar with that little area there. Would there be enough room for angled parking to pull in, or would it require parallel parking?
Right on Cypress?
Sure, we looked at that and the distance between the trees and really not, we thought we might have put two in there, but the problem is we're going to be impacting the root structure. I think the best part is if we do something or along Cypress would be parallel, because there's a slight swell ditch there and have to address that too. If you start putting your parking in between, even if it was vertical parking, you're going to be really constricted between them trees. I don't think.
I just didn't know angled parking might would fit a little better than straight in.
I think, Taylor, do you have some comment on that? Because I know you guys.
So with the angled parking, Councilman, with that being the truck route, you look at the available space, that's going to be a situation I don't think we're going to pursue. Like Mayor said, few parallel spaces, you may get two, maybe three, maybe more appropriate along that side of Cypress. We were hopeful that the angled parking would work out a little bit.
We were hoping.
With the truck route through there, that's really a situation.
If it wasn't for the trees there, then we could probably do something in there, but, those trees were planted directly to beautify the city many years ago, so we tried not to impact them. But we know.
I think what I'm hearing, if you can give the staff and let them come up with a recommendation that might help. We want to help if we can. We just got to be careful we don't get ourselves in a place that we shot ourselves in the foot, so to speak, if we have to do it everywhere. It may not work. But if you get the staff and let them come back with a recommendation, see what we do. We always want to support our business.
So Tim, the purpose of that area would be to utilize it for the business, for seating or for outdoor?
Outdoor dining, seating, just kind of leisure.
You probably need some sort of barrier because of ABC regulations.
Correct. And they're kind of vague on what the barrier should be.
They're very vague.
It's kind of open to the approval. And the primary purpose of the fence would be for safety.
Right.
Just with our openness to families, just creating a safe environment to keep kids from running into the Cypress Street.
I think that would be a concern from the city standpoint too, as far as liability for injury.
Tim, how much additional seating do you think that would add for your business? Can't imagine. We probably put a picnic table type top down there. Okay. And then 30% is kind of the max as far as dining goes. Not sure. Just curious.
Okay, you gonna give the staff and see if you can.
I will do that. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you, Tim.
Any other comments? Any other discussion?
Yeah, the one in Sky.
Not about the horse arena. Other than that,
Come on up.
Good afternoon, I'm Catherine Reeves. I reside over in Fairhope at 603 Angie Avenue. I am speaking on behalf of a friend who cannot be here today due to work, also for myself. As I have a farm over in Silver Hill, I got a smaller arena over there. I train horses. I'm also speaking on the local horse trainers in the area too. When it comes to training horses, especially for these timed events and rodeos, jumping, you name it, whatever events that they decide to do, hauling these young horses is something that's really big for this. And going to different locations is a big thing. Having the local arena hauling from over to Robertsdale, as everybody else has said, is booked most of the time. After hours, they'll have the arena closed down because they're prepping the ground. And having an arena solely for equestrians and just outside events is something that we dearly consider, close to us. And keeping everything moved around. If y'all do decide to relocate, I would like for y'all to consider fair footing, good fencing, the lighting, because there are people who can't make daylight hours and there's after hours that have the lights there. Myself, I use this arena a lot, riding young horses out there. A lot of our local clubs have used this, as everybody else has speaked on. From the local jackpots, the PCA rodeos. Losing this arena, if it is sold and not considerably tracked on building a new one in a timely manner, would be kind of sad to not have enough people to move around from just their personal property to the Robertsdale. And with one of my friends, to speak on her behalf, we have a lot of really good rodeo people in this area. We have some world champions from barrel racers, ropers. We have NFR qualifiers. We got state champions, youth champions. And the biggest thing is our youth. Bringing in these events is what brings the revenue into these communities. And I would like to see this community thrive on the equine industry, as Baldwin County is agricultural, and having horses in the ag industry still helps for moving your cows and things like that. From what I understand is that this place has been here for many years. If it doesn't get moved and that facility stays, we would definitely like to see more improvements. There are plenty of people that would love to help and have recommendations of what can be improved at that facility. Thank y'all for y'all's time in here. Thank you.
Yeah, we're good to go. Any other business? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Purple. Second by Eater. All in favor by aye. Aye. Opposed by no. We are adjourned.